You're darn right we did. This is big stuff.
And that's what we do.
That's what we do.
We should let everybody know that this whole first hour is brought to you by James Carlton State Farm.
Yes, it is.
Check out carltoninsurance.net. He's such a good guy.
Great.
314-961-4800. Just give him a shot at your business. Have him give you a quote, a hassle-free quote. He's probably going to save you money. He's definitely going to make sure you're covered better than you are right now.
It's icy.
He's real good at covering you up.
It's icy.
James Carlton State Farm, best State Farm and the agent in the game. 314-961-4800. Check out carltoninsurance.net. Tell him Hoosier Sophisticate sent you. Tell you what, call him during business hours and you get a voicemail, I'll give you a shirt. I'll do it just like that. One of them shirts right there.
Beautiful, luscious,
so soft
shirt.
So
God,
soft.
it's so good.
What happened with cannabis news?
Well, this is actually a little bit ago, but it's catching a little bit more steam now. You know, Vegas, they legalized cannabis recreationally.
I can't even imagine this because I have had many a good times in Vegas. I have a love-hate relationship with Las Vegas. I do. I like gambling. I'm a big fan of Vegas. But it's you spend 4 days on the Strip. That's all you want to be there. I mean, it is a hard place to be in all the time. A lot of fun. You were kind of talking about swagging that first night, right? Like it's just like reckless abandon. You're just taking everything. Like that's how Vegas is. You get there and you're like, well, we're just gonna party till 6 a.m. Yeah. And then the rest of your trip, you're just playing catch up. You know what I mean? Like you like the weird. You go out at 3 o'clock in the morning. I remember we were out there for my buddy's bachelor party, and we were literally the show did not start until like 2 o'clock in the morning. The Morgan Page show. It did not start until 2 o'clock in the morning. We got there like 10.
Is there stuff just always
around the clock? God, it's insane.
I love it.
So anyway, please go ahead.
That's my type of place right there. But Caesars and is leading the pack and kind of some other places here too. But at the realization that marijuana testing could thin out the casino hiring pool in Las Vegas, some businesses are removing marijuana from the list of drug tests for potential employees. Caesars Entertainment, which I'm sure is probably owns a bunch of stuff down there.
Yep.
Dropped marijuana drug testing. A Caesars spokesperson told KTNV that they would drug test employees only if there was a reason to believe they used drugs. Comparatively, MGM Resorts still test for marijuana as part of its hiring process. I tried to look up a little bit. There hasn't been too much further information on it and how they've kind of come since then. This article's a little bit old. But we got to get it off there everywhere, right? I mean, if you're using this as a medicine and it stays in your body for 30 days, it has no effect on your job. Like they said, I guess they can say, it's kind of the whole, are we going to be against drugs? Or, when you commit a crime on drugs, are you just against the crime itself, or are you against being on the drug and committing the crime?
Well, that's where I'm at. I mean, I think that it makes no sense to criminalize possession or even imbibing or taking any of these drugs. But if you wanted to treble charges if someone was under the influence of drugs when committing a crime, that makes perfect sense to me, right? If the idea is like you can't give people that because they're more prone to it, well, that's not necessarily true. And if it is, it's the same way as drinking. Like if you were speeding, you're going to get a ticket. But if you were speeding and then they found out that you were drunk and under the influence,
sure,
you're going to be punished heavily, more heavily. Same way if if there was a fatality in a car accident or something like that, you may get like a manslaughter charge or something like that if you weren't under the influence of anything. But all of a sudden, if you were under the influence, well, you might be facing some kind of murder charge. Yeah. So that's how it should work. We're creating a crime out of just possessing a plant or possessing these substances. It's just silly to me.
Yeah, it is.
It's silly to me. It really speaks to the prisons for profit, notion that, all these privately run businesses, slave labor.
Half of our prison population was nonviolent drug users.
Yeah.
And we have the biggest prison population in the world.
In the land of the free.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of strange.
So, I think to get the testing, because, I come from a construction background and everyone smoked pretty much like a high amount, like the food service industry type of deal.
Sure.
You get in there and everyone's like, hey, well, when is the time I tell them that I do?
Yeah.
When do I realize this person's cool that I can kind of let them know, okay, no, we're hanging out, which that's a stupid whole thing you have to go through anyway. Hopefully that taboo will be dead.
Absolutely.
But it was always like, oh, don't get hurt because then they'll test you and all that stuff. But it's funky too that cannabis will stay in your system for so much longer.
Yeah.
And I do think it's kind of it's not a travesty by any means, but it's tough that they don't have a testing system for cannabis yet, so you can't fully say, "Oh, this guy's ripped out of his gourd right now."
Yeah, they're trying, but it's not getting there.
That's a tough because I've even seen I think it was on CNN or one of the news channels where they took people stoned driving.
Yeah,
and no, this guy never smoked, and it made them worse drivers. The two people who
never ever did it.
Oh, sure. And so, but worse in the way where they were extremely cautious, overly cautious about it. And they said the biggest thing I got from it is they said I wouldn't want to drive. I would, and it was that thought process where they're like, "You guys are making me drive this car right now. I really have no interest in driving this car."
Sure.
To where you give somebody
some
like
courage, some liquid courage. They're like, I got it.
I will. You ever seen Tokyo Drift? I'll drift this course, okay? And so it was. That struck me as one of the most interesting things from that little trial.
Well, we talk about the dangers or the troubles we have with testing. When it comes to we're trying to test it the same way that we test for other things like alcohol and the way we test for alcohol, it's present in your system at the moment. So maybe there's something to be said for letting people study it. What are some different ways that it affects us that we can actually pinpoint? Okay, this person's under the influence now. What's something else we can test? What could we look for in the blood or in the in the breath or in the saliva? Maybe it's out there. We don't know. We haven't been able to test it for 30, 40 years. I don't know.
It's tough to get things done when you can't test it. Or if they're testing it, they're like, how bad is it?
Yeah.
Well, how'd the test come out?
Did it fit our model?
Yeah. How bad is it?
Do it again.
It didn't know. Okay.
Run it again.
That's crazy. That kind of a little mini story here. I talked about Oregon having 3 times the amount of weed that they could possibly manage.
Like they have a 6-year surplus.
Yes. I'm like, oh my God. Test it. Send it to all the best labs in the world.
Yeah.
And test it. Or hey, Missouri, who we were the 33rd, who was 32. Someone passed it right along with. Oh no, there were 3. 2
Dakota,
medicinal.
maybe?
Yeah, I think you might be right.
North
2
Dakota,
medicinal, and then Michigan, I think, went rec.
Yeah.
So we're waiting. We're going to be in this gray period where they literally told us that when we can't import seeds and we can't import clones, you can't cross these imaginary state lines. How are we ever going to start our program here if we don't do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you turn
when that date happens, there will have magically been some plants.
That's what I'm saying.
Appear. I know.
Magically from Oregon, bring a shipment in here because people need medicine.
I thought we had to dump you, but you said shipment.
Oh yeah, ship builders.
To build on that, the World Health Organization is calling for whole plant marijuana as well as cannabis resin to be removed from Schedule 4, which is the most restrictive category of a 1961 drug convention signed by countries from around the world. They also want Delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, and its isomers to be completely removed from a separate 1971 drug treaty and instead added to Schedule 1 of the 1961 convention, according to a World Health Organization document that has not yet been formally released. Marijuana and cannabis resin would also remain in Schedule 1 of the 61 treaty. They are currently dual designated in Schedules 1 and 4, with 4 being reserved for those substances that are seen as particularly harmful with limited medical benefits. That's different from the U.S. federal system, under which Schedule 1 is where the supposedly most dangerous and restricted drugs are. So it's just a flip scale.
Gotcha.
The World Health Organization is also moving to make clear that cannabidiol and CBD-focused preparations containing no more than 0.2% THC are not under international control at all. It had previously been the case that CBD wasn't scheduled under the international conventions, but the new recommendation is to make that even more clear. Hey, thanks for catching up, World Health Organization.
They call them the WHO, and you know what they said immediately after this article? We won't get fooled again. I was gonna go with that, but then I thought won't get fooled again would be a better play.
I knew where you were going. I appreciate that. Well done.
They're coming
to St. Louis. Pretty excited.
$55 tickets to sit in the lawn. Not going. Sorry, I guess I'm not going.
Are you serious?
It was cheaper to go see them in Pennsylvania.
I actually thought the 55 was a bargain.
They call that a bargain. The best I ever had. I'm going.
We're going. Well, I actually even asked Miss, I'm like, do you have any interest in seeing the food? She's like, no, that can be like a you and Steve thing if you want. And I'm like, oh, thanks, babe.
Oh, thanks, babe.
I appreciate you for that. What else is going on? Anything else in cannabis news?
Well, there was a big article that came out of on February 1st talking about how Missouri businesses looking to profit from medical marijuana. And of course, we got some big players in the game who, they have the money, they have the capital. We need them. Okay, we can't.
Did we
everybody.
Assume that they weren't going to be there? Come on.
And they're kind of, a lot of them I've seen, they're like, hey, I have this money. I don't really know too much about cannabis. I know that it works and it's a good business. Here you go, kind of make my money into more money. But what we're starting to see is all of these ancillary businesses popping up all over. I had a meeting with a plastics guy, which, it was weird because the plastics thing is kind of hey, I'm a hemp plastic guy, or I'm a glass guy because I always use glass or ceramic or something to hold my nugs and medicine in. It's always kind of been that little deal. But now you're realizing that, okay, this is medicinal grade plastic that, I don't know how harmful it is to the environment or whatever, but it's, has all these qualities that I'm sure hemp plastic could probably replace at one point. But right now, this is what we have in all the hospitals and all of big food service places where you have to make sure that stuff is safe. Otherwise, you got a full-on outbreak on your hands. So it was interesting to talk to some of these people. I talked to a carpenter who is going to get into grow rooms. He's going to start building grow rooms. I talked to a plumber and electrician, and they're like, we can't wait for this.
They can just specialize in that field, and there will be an abundance of work.
So, I think it's, there's the Missouri Medical Cannabis Network, I believe, and it's kind of a place where people can come together or whatever. But, we talked about just getting people together at a place and just saying, hey, let's all meet up. Because it's so funny because now you hear people who are like, I've been growing the best nugs for the last 15 years in Missouri. It's like, you have? I would be a little bit more silent about that on social media because it's still, this weird gray area. And it's like, it's legal, but hey, it wouldn't go ahead and post those photos with the timestamp.
Well, that kind of ties back into a lot of the people on the scene that have been very involved.
Oh, yeah.
The shrine of the unknown dealer, we talk about it all the time. There have definitely been people that have carried the flag throughout the black market. And thank you so much for doing that. Truly. Thank you. Those are also typically the people who are like, well, where was all this money 15 years ago? Well, guess what? The smart money stayed quiet the whole time.
Yes.
But I'll tell you what, you touched on something. If I was somebody that had just huge money to throw at this industry, I wouldn't be trying to open up some family of dispensaries or anything like that. I would be investing every bit of it in a hemp processing factory. I would be making hemp plastics. I would be making hemp fabrics, textiles. My 9 to 5, I sell shirts and promotional products and everything. That's where the market's going to go. People want to be typically. This crowd is already very environmentally conscious. They've known that the plants have the answer, right? Yes. While everybody else has been fighting it all along. Well, the last thing they want is everything to be disposable and there to be. Yeah. That's actually an issue that they're seeing out in Colorado and California and all this. The packaging is increasing the amount of trash and refuse that's out there. Yeah. So if I had big money to throw at this industry, that's where I would be at. I would make a hemp processing facility and I would be cranking out plastics and textiles because it's like you said, it's still ancillary. It's still going to contribute to that business, but there are the hive mind there's a massive shift going on. There's a huge paradigm shift with this newer generation where people want to participate in moral capitalism. People want to buy into companies that they're okay with them making a profit, but they also want to know that it's attached to humanitarian efforts or a chance to improve the globe. Or hemp, of all of the things, like I meet I play devil's advocate a lot on a lot of the green initiatives because I don't think they're that green, and I don't think that you can tax the earth back into a balanced climate. I just don't think you can do that. However,
so are you talking about like when they say your cars have to get a certain miles per gallon and
just all of that? Like solar's ready to replace everything. Well, the panels are very taxing on the environment to create all of these batteries and everything. Like we're still raping the planet for these materials. However, hemp is one that I fully believe in. It has so many different just cross platforms. You can use it for fuel, clothes, paper, anything wood makes, anything plastic. Hemp is the one that I truly believe in. And I think that you can, if you have big money, you could be a billionaire if you really invested into that tech.
Oh, they showed on Facebook, one of our buddies from the conference showed a hemp harvest. And I was like, wow, because it's a lot different than a cannabis harvest.
Sure.
You know, like you see the labs and they have all their plants in rows and it's indoor and it's a nice grow and they got, not as far as this was as far as the eye could see.
Farmers working,
Huge,
combines,
yes,
baling hemp.
big, huge machines baling these things up. And I'm like, okay, there we go. Because being from a construction background, everything we use in that industry is outdated. Almost everything we use is outdated.
Yeah.
And when it comes to hempcrete, the hemp fiber board, just the little bit that I've come in contact with it, it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
And the decorticators are getting better and better and better. And they're growing hemp plants that some of the stalks are that
they're immense.
And the fibers from them are insane. It's mold resistant, mildew resistant, pest resistant.
You get several harvests a year. You get a couple of harvests a year.
Soil.
It does not it doesn't deplete the soil either. So you can keep replanting it. And you can also cross plant other things with it. So you can grow things alongside it that encourage more growth. It's an incredible.
What are we doing then?
Listen,
what are we doing?
The guys that came over here to start this whole shindig, they were all hemp farmers. That's what they all did. The Declaration of Independence is written on hemp, guys. Come on. What are we doing here?
Washington had a hemp farm.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. All of those guys were hemp farmers. Every single one of them.
And they had some pretty darn good ideas.
They had a couple.
They had a few good ideas. I'm looking up. Leafly's one of my favorite sources for all this. But if you get online and look up a list of what hemp can be used for, it'd take the rest of the show to almost read off all of the things.
If you just had just a list, boom, 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 boom. You could read it like a dictionary.
And you sound kind of like your aunt who didn't cut her hair in 30 years who's been talking about hemp for you've been using it. And you're like, the person's a freak show. I'll use my plastic bags with my mom and dad at the grocery store. I'm fine with it. And now I'm like, honey, did you grab the bags for Aldi or whatever? Actually, we've been doing the Aldi order lately.
Dude, I got to move back to civilization because the
changer.
Instacart thing, you had me. You would talk about envy. You were talking about Instacart the other day. I'm like, man, I make 3-4 trips to the grocery store every week. If I could just kind of cut that out.
And I love the people delivering them. That might not be a bad place. Some of them have to do the shopping. Could not do that. Couldn't do the shopping. Yeah. But you have a list and you just kind of go off that. If you had a good, solid game plan of the store, you could rip through there and deliver those groceries and probably make a pretty good little deal. But they come up and they're like, hey, and it was funny because the lady was from California and it was right when it had snowed and then it was sunny and then we were supposed to have 9-degree weather. And of course it was like, hey, man, from California. Welcome to Missouri. How's this treating you? Yeah, exactly. So it was a beautiful little exchange between Instacart people. It was great. I just thought about doing that, so I wanted to do that real quick.
There are some awesome breakthroughs of technology, and somebody's making a living doing that. I was actually just talking to a friend that was out in California this week, and he's like, man, long flight, rough day of travel. It's pretty neat to pick up the phone and just call the weed guy, and he brings it to your hotel like dominoes. He's like, it was pretty painless, pretty easy little deal. They had a little menu. I just kind of called him, told him, give me a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and
what's so funny,
30 minutes later, it showed up at my door.
In Washington, D.C., I don't know if you know that, but that's our land's capital.
It is.
And it's cannabis is legal there.
Which is strange because it's a federal land.
You can't get it from a shop or dispensary, and you're not legally allowed to buy it. So it's like a gifting. Which I'm all about the gifting society. Sure. It's like, I love that. I wish we could barter it because that's one of the problems I had with the bill in Missouri. I'm not legally allowed to grow my own and say, hey, Craig, check this stuff out. You know what I mean? So there's still some gray area.
We'll get there.
I know.
Baby steps.
But what the hell was that?
It's a gifting.
Oh yeah. And Plowboy went there and he had to order off a little menu and find a place that sold cookies.
Oh, a bakery? Bake shop.
The bakery was for a muffin was $55.
$55 muffin. Oh.
And then for the croissant was $105. And so they had all these.
Naturally.
Yeah. And I was like, that's how you got it there? And he's like, Yeah, it's weird. And the guy's like, just don't go on any federal land with it. And I'm like, okay, you're on this side of the street. And then you're like, oh no,
this whole thing is federal land.
No, where do I go? So I thought that's our capital. And that's what the kind of S show they got going on over there. Give me a break.
We gotta get right.
Give me a break, man.
I mean, I felt as though Republicans really just blew a big opportunity at the midterms, and I'm thinking, maybe this is, holding on for some, I don't know, pie in the sky shot at 2020, like right beforehand. It's like, hey, guess what? All that stuff we said, nonsense. Throw it out. Hope you can forgive us, people that have been in prison for 30 years.
Yeah.
For a plant. Hope you can forgive us.
About that.
We were talking about all the hemp and everything. Like, you watch the movie like Pixar's Cars, right? And Chong plays like the hippie van, right? It runs on hemp fuel. And that's what I think about when I think about hemp, is like for the last 20, 30 years. I remember in the 90s, like people were like, you can run a car on.
Yeah. They killed all those guys.
And
government killed all of them.
But like those guys were always like the hippie that hasn't like cut his hair in 40 years. And like, I'm like, you're like, now I'm looking back and I'm like, oh, that guy was brilliant. He knew all along.
I know.
He wasn't willing to lie to us this whole time.
I know.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like there's just a lot that people are just going to line up and be like, there's a lot of apologies that we got to give out. Can we just give one blanket? I'm sorry.
No, I want them to go around individually.
Yes, each individual. We're sorry for every.
If I have to do it, they do too.
We can't afford to pay you any kind of recompense, but here is a big fat sack.
They just paid somebody $1 million. They locked him up for 18 years. I want to say $1 million ain't bad for 18 years of life, right? Jesus Lord.
Would you trade 18 years of your life for $1 million?
Not even close. Not even. I don't know if I'd trade like.
I wouldn't either.
Couple weeks, you know what I mean? Like, I value my time. Yeah, I would. Okay, one last little cannabis story that I thought was pretty awesome. There's in Vermont, they got CBD coffee now.
Okay.
And we talk about Blake. Blake has that new cocoa. Cocoa, and that's perfect in the coffee. Like, that's one of my favorite little deals. And it says it's easing people's pain and anxiety from mixing in their coffee, kind of having a little bit of that caffeine kick too.
Sure.
So it's kind of a nice little mix.
Well, I mean, I start my morning with a couple drops, and then 3 or 4 cups of coffee for sure. Yeah. But let's use this as an opportunity. If you know somebody that owns a coffee shop, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company offers their oil in a bottle with a pump. They want to get set up in your coffee shop. You can be a coffee shop that is setting up selling CBD coffee right here in St. Louis.
It's a huge deal. Now. People are loving it. I mean,
I'd be all over it. Why not?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, give me a pump of that sugar caramel garbage.
Yeah.
And a pump of that CBD just things out.
Yeah. Balance just kind of cancel it out a little bit. Well, I think we're up against it, Steve.
Oh my God, again?
Just a little bit of cannabis news for you guys.
I promise I won't shut down the live feed this
time. On the other side of the break, we're going to have our buddy, comedian Sam Lyons, going to come in. I think he's got a show tonight down on Cherokee Street. We'll find out all about that. We'll go into the rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah.
The rabbit hole.
I got some comments here.
We'll read some comments real quick before we
Cynthia says, love it. And then we have 2 comments right in a row. I love the solo show. I love the Steven Internet show. Thanks, guys. You're too kind.
Let's pump the brakes.
Thanks, Mom and Jen. Pete says, I stumbled across this feed on Facebook. Is this the reboot of My Two Dads?
Yes.
Good stuff, fellas. Who was a mask? Did a masked man come in here? Or was someone behind us?
Oh, maybe there was a masked man out back.
I don't know. We said, who is the masked man? And W. Anthony says, hey, guys. Someone says hydroponics are awesome and hemp.
I'm a big fan of aeroponics.
Hemp for president.
Awesome. On the other side of the break, we'll talk to our buddy Sam Lyons. We'll go down to the rabbit hole, and then we'll have some streaming picks for you. Hope you stick around. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU920am.com. We'll catch you on the other side.
Serving the metropolitan area, WGNU St. Louis.
There are few things I miss more about being a kid than hitting up the arcade with a sack of quarters. Now enjoy that same experience as an adult, but with the full bar at Parlor STL in the Grove. A classic neighborhood bar and arcade featuring 14 of your favorite old school arcade games, plus pinball, skee ball, and pool. Stay fly and step out back for some fried chicken from the Nug Shack. Games, food, an insane cocktail menu, and a dynamic patio. This place has everything. Parlor, located at 4170 Manchester in the Grove. Plan your next event or party at Parlor. Visit parlorstl.com. Hey Hoosiers, Craig Kohler here. With home buying season heating up, be sure to get a quote from a top agency and provider of the #1 home insurer in North America. They offer coverage that's second to none. In fact, if your AC goes out, they offer a new endorsement where you can get a replacement from a local HVAC company. Give them a call, 314-961-4800. If you get a machine and you don't talk to a person, we'll give you one of these fine Hoosier Sophisticate tees. Just takes one phone call or apply online at carltoninsurance.net. People do business with James because they like and trust him. Just check him out on Google and Facebook. If your insurance is costing you a leg and an arm, then call James Carlton State Farm.
A diamond is forever. You know what? Fuck that. A tattoo, that's forever. A piece of art that represents something you're passionate about, a loved one, a memory, or maybe just some really cool design you want to be part of your body for life. Stop by Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove and let one of their artists take your idea from your heart, soul, and mind and bring it to your skin. From the drawing table to the application itself, these artists hit a home run in every aspect of tattooing. Any style, any size, color, black and gray, doesn't matter, they got you covered. Got the itch to get inked? Check out their artist profiles at towerclassic.com. Tower Classic Tattoo, located at 4146 Manchester in the Grove.
Roof? You know what that sound is. That's Rufus the Roofing Dog from Lifetime Roofing and Renovation. They're former insurance adjusters. They will fly a drone over your house to check to see if you've had any hail damage. Heck, they'll get up there and tell you themselves. They have an office in Webster Groves, and they're looking to help you out. Lifetime Roofing and Renovation, 314-800-0426. Give them a call. Find them online at lifetimestl.com.
Hoosier Sophisticate with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin.
Was convicted LSD kingpin to best-selling author Seth Ferranti.
I was in prison. I was really writing for my peers. I wasn't writing for the street. I was with like Italian mafia dudes. I was with like Colombian cocaine cartel dudes. And, all those dudes, there were books about that, guys. But a lot of the African-American gangsters, gangster rap was really big in this time, mid-90s.
Yeah.
You just heard their names and everybody was talking about them. And, I'm on these compounds and there's these myths and legends. So that's why I decided to write about them.
Hoosier Sophisticate, Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. on WGNU.
Have you ever been pressed for time? Rushing to get to that very important meeting with the big guys, or trying to beat that grace period at work and finding somewhere to park is nearly impossible? You finally find a parking spot in front of the parking meter and you realize that you didn't bring any change. You happen to look over and see a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk. And for a half second, we immediately assume that the homeless person wants something from us. We snap back to reality as we check all our pockets for change because we don't want to get a parking ticket. Coincidentally, we look over and see the homeless man handing us the exact change we need for the parking meter. My new album, View from the Inside Out, was created to encourage listeners to not judge a book by its cover, because sometimes it's the person that we least expect that will be the one that gives us exactly what we need when we need it. View from the Inside Out drops March 19 everywhere. And remember, integrity matters the most when you're by yourself.
Thanks for listening. This is Integrity. Follow me everywhere at Integrity Music.
Sensory sensitivity, repetitious behavior, lack of eye contact. You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The government thinks 3 letters are bad. So bad, in fact, we won't even mention them. They even think that we've been waiting on them to tell us what works and what doesn't. Fine, we'll play your game. Look, friends, our fans have given us countless anecdotal testimonies of how Missouri Medical Cannabis Company's hemp oil is helping them and their pets. Now, we wouldn't be so forward as to say this oil that has been used for a couple thousand years for a smorgasbord of ailments and applications has any positive effect on your health or well-being. But we will tell you, it's a neat oil to have around the house. We personally think it makes your pet's food taste better. And if your pet's food tastes better, they're going to be happier and generally more playful. Come to think of it, it probably makes your food taste better. May as well see if it makes you happier and more playful. Life's too short to worry about what a group of unelected bureaucrats think about you or your habits. Go to momedcanco.com and try out this delicious oil. It might make things better. And by might, I mean it probably will, but we aren't crazy enough to say that. If you just want to taste it and try it out, enter HOSO at checkout, and you're going to get 15% off everything site-wide. Just a reminder, this hemp oil was rumored to have all kinds of benefits before Mitch McConnell saved us from something we didn't need saved from. Thanks, Mitch. momedcanco.com. 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 Sophisticate.com.
Every topic is on the table in Unite.
I think really the worst in these psychedelics is simply that they allow you to triangulate upon reality. I mean, in other words, if all you've got is awake and asleep, you can't go far with that. But if you've got awake, asleep, and DMT as points, you can...
St. Louis, let's get your mind right with Craig Kohler and Steve Elgin. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hoosier Sophisticate here on WGNU 920 AM. Set the mood. We're streaming live on WGNU920am.com. You can check out past episodes of the podcast at HoosierSophisticate.com. You can check out our merch. We have a tab dedicated to all of the cannabis content we have on here. And got another little cool thing. One of our sponsors, Steve, is Tower Classic Tattooing down in the Grove.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
And they do phenomenal work. As many people have seen your keister.
I know.
And they see what kind of work they do out there. But got a little, we want to do a weekly tattoo review. Just random people on the internet that have written reviews for Tower Classic Tattooing. And one of them we came across today was, after a ton of research and consultations at quite a few shops, I decided to take the plunge and get tattooed at Tower Classic. From the initial consultation to post-tattoo, I felt well taken care of. My artist was professional. I felt comfortable. And he took the time to perfect the placement of my tattoo. Since this was my first tattoo, I went with something simple, and it has healed perfectly. The shop is so incredibly clean, and the people working the front are great. My experience was awesome, and the work done here is phenomenal. I'll continue to go to Tower Classic for my tattoos, and I can't wait for my next one. This shop is nothing short of 5 stars. Guys, book your next ink at Tower Classic Tattooing, located at 4146 Manchester in the Grove. Check them out at towerclassic.com.
Mine is still beautiful as the day is long. Sean was tender with my backside, very professional. I know it's hard for most people to be down there and not be visually aroused.
Sure.
So I'm proud of him for that. And I mean, every time I whip it out, I get a compliment. People are like, that's awesome. The detail on the leaf is phenomenal. And he even added depth to it by putting the 2 behind one leaf and then coming around the other. So there's all these things that you don't think about that the tattoo artists, especially there, they get, man.
Sure.
And they have a lot of, I asked someone, asked me about the 3D tattoos. I think they got a guy there who has done a few of them that are just awesome.
You'll find that in the field. Obviously, there's people that
How neat is that,
specialize in different kinds of tattooing, and some guys are really great at Japanese, some guys are good at old school, new school.
Yeah, what would you call the style that? Because they got about 3 or 4 guys that kind of follow that same I mean, it almost looks Asian,
Japanese. Yeah, that's
kinda,
Japanese style.
Yeah. I mean, very vivid colors, kind of like the koi. The koi fish, a lot of them will do a koi. Like that is some neat stuff. Or the tiger or jaguar, maybe. I feel like it's
usually a tiger. Yeah,
very neat stuff. Check them out on Instagram, Facebook. They're so kind to us. Thanks for being on board.
I believe even Seth's got some work done there a time or two. Yes,
I actually haven't been to Tower for a tattoo.
You haven't?
Thanks for putting my next tattoo. I already have it drawn up. I got an artist picked out, a friend of a friend. We're gonna do this. It's gonna be great. My dog Harlem.
Oh, nice.
I think
I have seen the picture.
I drew a little. I do some drawing.
Yes,
I made a little caricature of him smoking a cigar.
I'm a big fan.
Hello, my name is Seth, and I like to do drawings.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I was in the bathtub.
That little skit.
My drawings.
He drew a couple.
That should have been a movie.
So we put
it would have been better than That's Pat or It's Pat.
We put we put a poll out on the Sophisticated Hoosiers page because we've been trying to put together a Hoosier Tattoo Day, Hoosier Bang a Day, and it looks like right now the leader in the clubhouse is 224. It's the last Sunday,
February 24th.
February 24th at Tower Classic Tattooing. We're going to start. If you got some ideas for what you want to do on a tattoo, in order to make this happen and to get multiple people a session all kind of lined up, we need to start working on the art. Let's let them have all that banged out because we're going to have to be moving and shaking. We got like 15 people that are talking about possibly going out there getting a tattoo on that Sunday. And what's cool about that is during that day, I figured it'd be a nice little Sunday fun day. You got Parlor right across the street, also a sponsor of this show. We can kind of go back and forth. We make a whole day of it, man. Hoosier Tattoo Day. We'll go back and forth. Maybe there'll be a drink on the menu over at Parlor.
We're working on that.
And we'll just make it a whole Sunday fun day. Should be a lot of fun.
A refreshment.
Circle February 24th on your calendar. It looks like it's going to be Hoosier Tattoo Day. We'll get that all worked out with Sean. They're awesome.
So what do we for the people listening right now? They're interested. What are we talking about? A 4x4 probably is what you're looking at.
We're going to work all those details. It was so funny because I really wanted to get Sean as much information as I could on this because I figure it's an undertaking. He's going to have to get some artists there, make sure that nothing else is booked that day. Yeah, just kind of. He goes, hey man, you put it together. We're going to make it happen. So we'll talk about it. Obviously, it would be uncouth to go in there trying to get a full back piece whenever there's 15 people that are trying to get tattooed. I think I'm going to go with the logo. I think I'm getting our logo.
Yeah, I haven't decided. I think I might just get my Yaya, my grandma's name, just on my arm. Just her name, just so it's easy done. It's always wanted to be my first tattoo. Went ahead and got that one for the radio station first. So big ups to Grandma.
You got a
second snap.
You got a chance, guys. Check out Tower Classic Tattooing and Parlor STL down in the Grove. These are guys that were investing in the neighborhood before it was cool. Now it's one of the hippest spots in town, and that's what it takes. That's what it's going to take to make St. Louis this destination place. Is a bunch of people investing in these old school neighborhoods, man. And
it's something for the community to kind of rally around, and at least our Sophisticated Hoosiers community. We got people in here right now in our page saying, "Hey guys, I'm an artist. If anyone needs me to draw something, let me know." That's from Libby. We got people tagging other people in here. People get excited about the tattoo stuff, which I was so unaware of before, and I'm always amazed at different phenomenon, like the Harley phenomenon, Jeep phenomenon, these little different like cult followings, Rocky Horror Picture Show. I always love these where people can get together. Tattoos are kind of like,
absolutely,
it's a club, baby. Like I had one and it's like, oh, you got one, that's cool.
It's a culture.
It totally is. It's neat.
There are tattoo people.
And talking about it, seeing how everyone is like, I've been thinking about this for years, and I've always wanted to get this, and this means so much to me. It really draws up some emotions, drums up some emotions for everybody, which is a really cool thing to see for, a tattoo place. Even like running a tattoo place, I have a whole crew come in one day, and they all get to make this joint memory together. So whenever they look at their tattoo, we should all get something. So when we line all of our arms up, it's me and Craig and like a pencil drawing.
Perfect. Perfect. I like that. I like that. No, I always had designs when I was younger. I was just going to have, full sleeves and everything. But I made this rule for myself that I wasn't going to get anything tattooed on me until I got my dad's artwork tattooed on me.
Yeah, which is cool.
And something I didn't really consider when doing this, I figured I needed some real estate because I wanted it to be nice and big. So I chose my upper back. And it's such a meaningful piece of art to me.
But you never see it.
But I never see it, man.
I forgot I had an upper back tattoo for like a couple of years.
That's what I'm saying.
Literally, it's like, oh, hey,
it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. Like it's the most meaningful piece I could possibly ever put on me. And I'm like, I just don't see it. Every now and then, like I'd be drying off after the shower or whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, kind of. Guys, I'll see pictures of me or whatever in the summertime. I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh, that is cool.
But it's like the only tattoo I see is my little cardinal tattoo. It's on my arm. I'm like, it's kind of goofy. I got that on a whim on opening day. Just be goofy, I like banger tats too. I'm a big fan of that. So,
I mean, what do we talk about pricing? Like, what can people expect?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I think
artists charge by the hour, and it's by experience.
Yeah, sure.
That's another thing.
There's artists who charge $100 an hour. There's artists that charge $175 an hour.
And what Sean get mine done in 45 minutes? That was unbelievable.
Yeah, and you would
think the video was a little over 45 minutes. Yeah. And a tip, obviously, too. But
a good tip would be $15 an hour.
Okay, I didn't realize
a lot of people don't know that.
No, it's good.
I said 15 or 20 an hour.
At least 10.
Yeah. But
if you're getting like a portrait or something big, you tip 15, 20 an hour.
Sure.
The need or the some tattoo artists, the desire and want to have their availability. I didn't realize, man, you can really carve yourself out a little niche where you might have people on waiting lists for months.
I'm gonna throw this out there. This is he's not our sponsor, but he went viral last week.
Yeah.
He's a buddy of mine.
Wow.
He's a buddy of mine. He runs a tattoo shop in Hecker, Illinois. His name's Eric Catalano. He owns Eternal Ink. out in Hecker. And the reason I'm bringing this up, I'm sure that Sean and all the guys at Tower would be all over this. It got shared. He had a guy come in that cut off the tips of his fingers, and so he was looking at it and he's like, yeah, and he free-handed some fingernails on there and shared it or whatever. One guy shared it. It's been shared 1 million times in the last 2 weeks, and I know Eric, personally, and I know how much it means to him. It all started. He actually invented like a nipple dermal for women that have had mastectomies, and so he was doing 3D nipple to make these gals really feel whole again. But it was like, there's something missing from that depth, at a 3D perspective. So he came up with these dermal implants. So like it actually gives him, on top of the 3D tattoo, the guy just does great work. And he has always refused to charge for that type of work. Well, when this thing got shared for the fingertips, I mean, he started getting calls from everywhere, thousands of people reaching out. And he's like, man, if I did everybody that asked me to do it, I wouldn't be able to make a living because I really don't want to keep charging for this. So he set up a GoFundMe, and people can just blindly kind of throw it in there. And he just, as people need it done, that's what he's going to be able to take out to be able to still tattoo for a living. But I mean, he's out in California right now. He's gone bonkers. He's got a trip to Australia where he's got a bunch of people that have had reconstructive surgery. They're
so cool what he did.
Really cool stuff, man. So I'll give our buddy Eric Catalano at Eternal Ink good luck getting on his books.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Basically what I'm getting at. Good luck there because he went viral, and
I mean, you could probably give him a price at that point.
For sure. Oh, for sure. He could before that. There's plenty of artists, throughout the world that definitely kind of work on their own terms, on their own schedule. Kudos to him.
Cool.
Kudos to him, man. I'd like to think
man.
that if I had that kind of God-given gift, to be able to do something, selfless with it. What a cool gesture.
Dang. Maddie R on the Facebook hotline here says my tattoo took 6 months of a wait list and then 6 hours in the chair.
Woo! That's 4.5 hours. 4.5.
I mean, geez.
I sat almost 3 with my back, and that was my first one. So that was like, wow. That was
right there on the spine.
Yeah, they actually.
My vision was like just.
I gotta tell you, I think it's different for everybody because Miss got her ditch tattooed, and
everything from body fat percentage to muscle mass to everything's going to affect.
Well, and
feels,
for me, it's
placement,
not super
the artist
painful.
itself.
It's not super painful to go over the bones for me. It's those real meaty areas where it's really like in between my spine and my shoulder blade. I was like, that was where it was starting to really wear me out a little bit. So it's different for everybody, pain's so subjective as it is, but
I just never had a bad trip. I don't feel pain. I just wish I was like a normal guy.
I know.
It's like I'm like a superhero. I got shot. I was just fine.
Can we go? Can we go down the rabbit hole?
Do you want to?
Yeah, I think this.
Hold on. Where's Sam?
Man,
let's talk about that real quick because if he's throwing up
we need to get a search party together.
I'll end him.
Everybody on Facebook watching, get together.
Find Sam Lyons.
We need. You guys have seen Sam before. We need you to go out in the city.
Is he here?
We need you to find him.
Yeah, no, guess what?
He's lost. He's scared. He could be dehydrated.
Well, we don't depend on you, Sam.
He'll never work in this town again.
Ever.
Let's just put it that way.
I just figured it'd be fun to go down the rabbit hole.
All right, our board op just walked away, so we're not going to get any music.
I don't think.
Sam's here.
He was letting Sam in.
He saw Sam.
The second I said go find Sam, he just jumped up and went and he did it.
Done in this town.
All right,
you are done in this town. How dare you, sir? Come have a seat, buddy. Welcome to the show. We got Sam Lyons making the rounds. We love this guy. He's one of St. Louis's greatest comedians. I don't know why he's hanging out with us. But he is. Well, I'm on camera. Don't make me look like an idiot right now. I have my hand raised. Come on.
Oh,
thank you. Thank
Hi,
you. God,
Steve. So good to see you.
Always
Always
like
a
a
pleasure.
fool. Hey, we got rid of Roman.
Message from Sam. He says I'm here. All right, so we're good.
I don't think your mic's on back there, Seth. But we'll work it all out. Sam, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. You got a show tonight?
I do not have a show tonight. I do have a show tomorrow.
Okay, let's talk about it a little bit.
Tomorrow night, I will be over
Sam,
at the
come
Improv
this,
Shop.
come this way a little bit.
Come this way. Hey, hi
There
guys.
you go.
Can you
You're
see
on
me?
camera now, baby.
What's up, Hoosiers? Tomorrow night, I will be at the side stage of the Improv Shop over in the Grove for a fun little show we like to call The Draft. It's a show put on by two brothers, John and Jello Pitts, that are very well known at the shop. It is going to be a fantasy style draft, but we won't be drafting football because I don't know anything about football.
Me neither.
What
We will be drafting
It's rigged.
is the yes, it is. We'll get to that later. What we will be drafting is the cinematic masterpieces of His Excellency former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger and your boy Nicolas Cage, which is also something I know nothing about, but it's going to be fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It'll be-
So how does this draft work? How are they going to, is it just kind of a ranking system?
So it'll be four of us. It's me, the Pitts, and then Katie Nunn, who was the director for the Late Night Live talk show that I did at the shop last year. It'll just be the four of us. We'll draw for order, and then it'll just be just like a regular draft. We'll just go 5 rounds. We'll each pick 5 Cage or Schwarzenegger movies. We'll throw some fun challenges in there, some games to get the audience involved, and it's going to be a good time.
How do you decide who wins? Who has the best team?
We have a vote at the end.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Who's
Oh,
got the
I am
best?
liking
Who's got the
that.
best 5? Is that
Who has
right?
the best- yeah, who has the best?
All right, if
five,
we're
yeah.
handicapping this, I mean, obviously Arnold's best movie is Terminator.
Listen, chill, okay? Because I don't know
I
who's listening out there.
I'm handicapping it right now. I'm handicapping it right now. I'll
That's
do
his
it.
best movie.
And
Okay.
Cage, National Treasure.
First off, well,
Those
National
are-
Treasure is a jam. I watched it last night, actually.
You
I will watch it
obviously-
anytime. I watch it anytime.
I will watch it anytime.
National Treasure slaps in its own way. Sure, I'm not here to deny that, but they both have
God.
such higher movies than that.
No.
I can't get into specifics because I
Okay.
don't know if the
I don't want you
competitors
to-
are out there listening.
Yeah, they are.
But one of these actors
definitely
has a
listening.
movie where he plays maybe like a first responder who moves into like an education type role. You know what I'm
Got
talking
you.
about? Don't
I
say
got
it if
you.
you know it.
Not a tumor.
One of those actors has a movie where he wakes up with a different life and starts to appreciate the value of family. It's Christmas time. Hey, that's a great.
Come on.
Whoa,
That is a good-
that is a good. That is a good
Get out of
play.
here.
Also, 2 words, Turbo Man. So that's
Okay.
like, there's a plethora out
Sinbad
there.
carried him.
There's a
around that
plethora
movie.
out there.
Okay.
There's a plethora out
Sinbad
there.
carried him.
Sinbad
He carried
did
him that
Sinbad
entire
did own
movie.
that movie that we're not going to name. But
Him and the neighbor. The
yeah. Phil
Yeah,
Hartman.
Phil Hartman.
Dan
Yeah.
Hart. Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman.
He
Phil
died.
Hartman.
Did he die?
His
I
wife
feel
killed
like
him
one
in
of
a
those
murder
actors
suicide.
did a movie with Tom Arnold and Jamie Lee
Did she-
Curtis.
Did that
and-
movie happen?
Yeah, Phil Hartman, murder suicide, his wife.
Oh my god.
No, vice versa.
He did it?
No, she did it.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I said.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
But we're breaking it down in the 7:30
Oh
hour.
man, that's right. We got graphs and charts.
That actually ties in nicely because Steve's been doing a Steve Internet show and he's been recapping some 80s gems of
Yeah.
movies.
I
And
haven't hit any Nick Cage
we
yet.
actually we did a we did a contest of we're going to give away 4 tickets to Marcus Warenberg Theaters of the most underrated movie of all time, which I think is fun. I've got a stable of movies that I feel like are overlooked. They're well known in little areas, but
So we're going underrated.
Yeah,
Not
underrated.
Not appreciated.
I'll read them off the Facebook page of all of our constituents on there, and then you guys give me each a little thought on one. Seth, are you in, or you just want to sit over there like a petulant child?
Woo!
I'll be part of the show,
Okay,
Steve.
cool. Sounds good.
I don't mind.
See how they play when I'm not here to keep them in check? Guys, come on. We're all family.
There's more comfortable places to sit in
All
this
right.
building if I'm not going to be on
I haven't
air.
shaved.
All right. Timmy A says, can't hardly wait.
Oh,
I think it's right where it
that's
needs to
a
be.
good movie.
I think it's right where
It's like the high school
Remind me,
graduation.
who's in it?
Jennifer loves
Jennifer
Hewitt.
loves
Yeah.
Buffy, loves Geller, Hewitt.
See,
Everybody loves Raymond.
we
Yeah.
rewatched She's All That. Didn't hold up too well. Didn't hold up.
I'll fight you right here. Honestly, I saw a movie.
I haven't seen either one of those.
Could have been more than a couple years ago. Last time I saw the movie, that movie's still.
You think so?
With Usher? Are you kidding me?
Oh, is he?
He's the DJ guy. He's like yeah.
And the blonde-haired blue-eyed blonde-haired guy that I like, Paul Walker. Isn't he his
Paul
buddy?
Walker's in it. He's the
Yeah.
buddy. Also,
That movie
you're
still
in it.
plays.
You're also in it.
Oh yeah, Matthew
That's right,
Lillard.
Matthew Lillard.
That's a great movie. I'm wrong. Beer Fest is the next one.
I love Beer Fest.
I've only seen like half a Beer Fest.
I'm a
It
big fan
seemed
of Beer
fine.
Fest.
You think it's underrated?
Maybe,
Probably not.
maybe.
Maybe a tiny
Only
bit.
because I think that it came out almost immediately after Super Troopers, and it was being
Actually-
measured to the same.
I feel like it was way later.
It was way later because here's what happened. I went
Oh,
to
you're
see
right. The island one.
2006 because I went
Yeah.
to see
Club Dread.
Accepted
Club Dread did.
Yeah.
I saw Accepted in theaters, and
That's on the list.
me and my brother, we met these. Whoa! All right, me and my brother met these two girls in the movie theater, and
here we go.
we're like, "Oh, we're gonna go see Beer Fest." I was like, "We're gonna go see Accepted," and then like Accepted ended, and Beer Fest was long as hell, so we went in and watched like the last 12 minutes of Beer Fest with them.
I enjoyed
and then one of
Damn,
their
it was
boyfriends,
12 minutes longer than Accepted. That
And
is
then-
crazy long, Sam.
and then one of their boyfriends messaged me on MySpace.
Maybe he didn't like the music on your landing page.
Casey and JoJo is your intro song.
It was Birdman and Lil Wayne, obviously.
Obviously, for sure.
All right, what else we got?
Well, building on that, Accepted was on the list.
Yeah, it
and
was.
I just
That's a
want to
great
say
movie.
that is a great
pretty good
choice
movie.
because I would say easily top 3 comedies for me of the aughts, for sure. That movie made me. I want a Glenn Wad right now.
And there are a few actors: Blake Lively,
Jonah Hill.
Justin
Jonah
Long.
Hill.
That's
yeah.
pre-super bad. That's
Yeah.
Jonah Hill
Yeah,
pre-super
he's
bad.
a
yeah.
big old, he's like weirdly
Ask
aged.
me about Marlena.
Yeah.
You were afraid to try the new flavor of Dr. Pepper. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Yes, for sure.
Idiocracy. It got mentioned a few times.
I
on
feel
there.
like it's rated right where it probably
Yeah.
should be.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like it's a cult classic, so it kind of falls into that category. But no one paid attention to it when it first came out.
Sure.
Like it was kind of like that's stupid.
Hey, let's hit him with it real quick. Integrity's in the building.
There it is. What's up, buddy?
Just came by on his night off.
Yeah, I think he's got a show tonight, doesn't he? Oh, he's done. Oh, man, that's why you're still smoking. I can see it. That's why I see what's going on
He's
here.
vibrating energy.
Pumped.
All right.
Hey, wait, Idiocracy?
Yeah.
Right where it should be.
You think?
I'm going with that.
Okay.
I thought it was a solid, decent film. I'll give it a D for decent.
I think that it did a really good job of kind of laying out
Middle of the road.
the direction that we're heading. But I feel like it's through its cult fame, it's definitely picked
Is
up.
that the one where like those two people like wake up in the future and all of a sudden they're the
One.
smartest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Owen
I haven't-
Wilson. Or,
It's been on my list for a
You
while.
should check it out.
Okay,
It's
all
worth checking out.
What
for
Wilson brother? Is it Owen?
Sure. No, it's Luke.
Luke. Yeah, Luke. I'm not a big fan. The Legend of 1900.
Never seen it.
What?
That
Ever
sounds
seen
fake.
it? They did a GIF of it. Jackie Brown.
Loved it.
I haven't seen it.
Jackie Brown's terrific. I don't know if it's underrated.
Yeah. I don't know.
Actually, out of the
People talk a lot about it.
yeah, I feel like
out of the Tarantino movies, though, you don't really hear it
You're
mentioned
right.
a
That's
lot.
fair.
You hear Pulp Fiction, you hear Kill Bill, but I think
Reservoir
it's
Dogs.
It's one of Sam L. Jackson's like most fun characters.
it's my second favorite out of the Tarantino.
It's
Pulp
a
Fiction,
good flick.
obviously being first.
this is one of my faves from childhood. The Monster Squad.
Wolfman has nards.
Yep, that was my
Monster
favorite.
Squad was my jam as a kid growing up.
Monster Squad. Anybody?
Never heard of it.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
it was like a
kind
Halloween movie.
Am I
campy.
showing my age?
of competed with the Goonies a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
But it was
okay.
about some kids that hunted monsters, Dracula, Mummy, Wolfman.
It's worth a watch.
It's
Okay.
totally worth a watch.
All right.
It's campy.
I don't know if it's underrated.
It's
like
zany.
oh, that movie should have got national acclaim for that movie, and it didn't. That's a travesty. I don't think we're going there with it. But with the next movie, I will go there. Airborne should have won the Academy Award.
Christian Slater?
Is that no? That's not Christian.
No.
Gleaming the
Gleaming the Cube's my jam.
That movie's awful.
This has Seth Green, the red-haired kid.
Okay.
He's in it. He's the cool guy's buddy.
I thought of Air Bud right away. The dog movie. I was like, is that the basketball?
I didn't even
playing
know that
dog?
they rated it anywhere. Under or
dog
over.
movie.
It's where they had the devil's backbone, and they all have that
Oh,
race
yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah,
end of the movie.
yeah,
And I think the kids from dude.
Yo, and he's come on Disney Channel all the time.
Yeah, I did. It was
Dude, he
a
moved from
total-
California and he calls everybody bra. And he's like, oh, did he just call you women's underwear? And like that's like the whole bit of the movie.
I
They
think
put
so.
that sand in his locker. The movie slaps so hard. 6 Grammys for it right now.
Okay.
I know it's not the right award. I don't care.
Somebody put Gleaming the Cube on there.
That was me.
Oh god.
Because Airborne was on there. I'm like, you're going to mention Airborne. You mentioned.
Okay, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless
I
Mind.
love
One of my
that.
favorite movies.
I love that movie.
I love the concept of it, and I
Listen.
love the weirdness of it. I love that movie.
I love the concept of it. I watched it a few months ago. I just wasn't feeling it.
Really?
Like,
It's a sad
back
movie.
to back. I watched it and I watched Her, and like they're both like
Okay.
great concepts. But I was like, these movies are kind of.
I haven't watched her yet. That's the one with Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin
Yeah.
Phoenix. It was like it was fine, like,
Yeah.
but it just like
It
and
blew
it
you
just
away.
kept going on and
Eternal
on
Sunshine's a
and
real long
on,
flick.
and
Yeah, yeah.
like,
yeah.
It should have ended like 6 times.
Yeah, and it is. It's a tough watch too.
Well, it's it's not like happy go lucky.
No.
Like,
Well, yeah,
it's,
sure.
yeah, it's
You got a thought on that?
I'm gonna go slightly underrated.
Because you're gonna love the next one.
Oh yeah.
Clerks.
Oh, completely overrated, like nothing else.
Big overrated.
One of the most overrated movies ever.
wow. It's one of my favorite
The
comedies. of
only
all time.
Kevin Smith movies are Chasing Amy and Zack and Miri.
Well, you're wrong.
Oh, that's a Kevin Smith movie?
Yep, that's you're wrong. But I love both
All
those
right.
movies. He's done. I haven't seen Tusk yet, but outside of that, like I enjoy all Kevin Smith flicks. I love Dogma. I watched Dogma the other night.
Dogma was fun.
I think Jane Silent Bob Strike Back is like okay because like Will Ferrell, Chris Rock,
Yeah.
guys like that saved it.
Chris Rock was great in Dogma.
Judd Nelson.
Well, Chris Rock's just great.
Hey, we got 6 or 7 guys back at the.
Let's peel through these real
Police
quick, and
house.
we'll pick it up on the other side of the break. What do you think?
Let's make some man chowder. Yeah. Then we got the Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Baron von Munchausen.
What's that?
It's like I think it's got a lot of the Monty Python guys. I think maybe Eric Idle.
Did you
was
pick
part
that
of
one too?
Is
that one of yours?
A comedy?
I didn't, but I will say that one night when my dad was sick or whatever, we got a little lifted.
Sure.
And on YouTube, we watched. There was this series of people because the whole idea of Baron von Munchausen is like he's this character that has done all these tall tales. He's like the world's most interesting man, right? And so like we went down this YouTube rabbit hole where these people were competing, telling their Baron von Munchausen stories. It's pretty fun. Anyway,
That sounds fun.
yeah, it's
Not
kind
too
of fun.
bad. That's not too bad. You want to do a couple more before we go to break here?
I'll tell you what. Why don't we jump to break and we'll pick it up on the other side, guys? This is Hoosier Sophisticate. Stick around with Sam Lyons, Steve in the building, Seth over there in the corner. We stick him back there, but he still chimes in every now and then. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU 920 AM. We'll catch you on the other side of the break.
There are few things I miss more about being a kid than hitting up the arcade with a sack of quarters. Now enjoy that same experience as an adult, but with the full bar at Parlor STL in the Grove. A classic neighborhood bar and arcade featuring 14 of your favorite old school arcade games, plus pinball, skee ball, and pool. Stay fly and step out back for some fried chicken from the Nug Shack. Games, food, an insane cocktail menu, and a dynamic patio. This place has everything. Parlor located at 4170 Manchester in the Grove. Plan your next event or party at Parlor. Visit parlorstl.com.
Have you ever been pressed for time? Rushing to get to that very important meeting with the big guys, or trying to beat that grace period at work and finding somewhere to park is nearly impossible? You finally find a parking spot in front of the parking meter and you realize that you didn't bring any change. You happen to look over and see a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk. And for a half second, we immediately assume that the homeless person wants something from us. We snap back to reality as we check all our pockets for change because we don't want to get a parking ticket. Coincidentally, we look over and see the homeless man handing us the exact change we need for the parking meter. My new album, View from the Inside Out, was created to encourage listeners to not judge a book by its cover, because sometimes it's the person that we least expect that will be the one that gives us exactly what we need when we need it. View from the Inside Out drops March 19 everywhere. And remember, integrity matters the most when you're by yourself.
Thanks for listening. This is Integrity. Follow me everywhere at Integrity Music.
A diamond is forever. You know what? Fuck that. A tattoo, that's forever. A piece of art that represents something you're passionate about, a loved one, a memory, or maybe just some really cool design you want to be part of your body for life. Stop by Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove and let one of their artists take your idea from your heart, soul, and mind and bring it to your skin. From the drawing table to the application itself, these artists hit a home run in every aspect of tattooing. Any style, any size, color, black and gray, doesn't matter, they got you covered. Got the itch to get inked? Check out their artist profiles at towerclassic.com. Tower Classic Tattoo, located at 4146 Manchester in the Grove.
Hey Hoosiers, Craig Kohler here. With home buying season heating up, be sure to get a quote from a top agency and provider of the #1 home insurer in North America. They offer coverage that's second to none. In fact, if your AC goes out, they offer a new endorsement where you can get a replacement from a local HVAC company. Give them a call, 314-961-4800. If you get a machine and you don't talk to a person, we'll give you one of these fine Hoosier Sophisticate tees. Just takes one phone call or apply online at carltoninsurance.net. People do business with James because they like and trust him. Just check them out on Google and Facebook. If your insurance is costing you a leg and an arm, then call James Carlton State Farm.
Roof? You know what that sound is. That's Rufus the Roofing Dog from Lifetime Roofing and Renovation. They're former insurance adjusters. They will fly a drone over your house to check to see if you've had any hail damage. Heck, they'll get up there and tell you themselves. They have an office in Webster Groves, and they're looking to help you out. Lifetime Roofing and Renovation, 314-800-0426. give them a call. Find them online at lifetimestl.com.
Hoosier Sophisticate with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin.
Was convicted LSD kingpin to best-selling author Seth Ferranti.
I was in prison. I was really writing for my peers. I wasn't writing for the street. I was with like Italian mafia dudes. I was with like Colombian cocaine cartel dudes. And, all those dudes, there were books about that, guys. But a lot of the African-American gangsters, gangster rap was really big in this time, mid-90s.
Oh, yeah.
You just heard their names and everybody was talking about them. And, I'm on these compounds and there's these myths and legends. So that's why I decided to write about them.
Hoosier Sophisticate, Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. on WGNU.
Hi, I found a toy dinosaur over on the playground by Smith Street. It had this phone number on it, and, I just wanted to make sure the dinosaur made it back to its little owner.
When I found the little sippy cup, I just had to give you a call. It's for a kid,
I know my son gets super attached to the smallest things, even a fire truck, and I'd be happy to drop it off.
We'd do anything for kids, yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The government thinks 3 letters are bad. So bad, in fact, we won't even mention them. They even think that we've been waiting on them to tell us what works and what doesn't. Fine, we'll play your game. Look, friends, our fans have given us countless anecdotal testimonies of how Missouri Medical Cannabis Company's hemp oil is helping them and their pets. Now, we wouldn't be so forward as to say this oil that has been used for a couple thousand years for a smorgasbord of ailments and applications has any positive effect on your health or well-being. But we will tell you, it's a neat oil to have around the house. We personally think it makes your pet's food taste better. And if your pet's food tastes better, they're going to be happier and generally more playful. Come to think of it, it probably makes your food taste better. May as well see if it makes you happier and more playful. Life's too short to worry about what a group of unelected bureaucrats think about you or your habits. Go to momedcanco.com and try out this delicious oil. It might make things better. And by might, I mean it probably will, but we aren't crazy enough to say that. If you just want to taste it and try it out, enter HOSO at checkout, and you're going to get 15% off everything site-wide. Just a reminder, this hemp oil was rumored to have all kinds of benefits before Mitch McConnell saved us from something we didn't need saved from. Thanks, Mitch. MomedCanco.com. MomedCanco.com. MomedCanco.com.
There's an endless crop of new people who are interested in using these botanical materials for purposes of self-exploration.
Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU with your hosts, Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. Now sit back and learn something about yourself.
What is a psychedelic experience? And it's a gratuitous grace. It is neither necessary for salvation nor sufficient for salvation, but it certainly makes it easier.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hoosier Sophisticate here on WGNU 920 AM. The second hour is brought to you by Lifetime Roofing. Roof. Guys, Google Lifetime Roofing and Renovation. LifeTimeSTL.com, 314-800-0426. All this snow's melting away. It's supposed to be in the 60s this weekend. You see a little spot on your ceiling, you might have a little leak. They will come out. They will take a look for free. Give them a shout. They want to help you out. Lifetime Roofing. Google them. We left off talking about some underrated movies.
Google it. Okay. Yeah, we did. And, I haven't seen some of these. I've seen some of them. We've decided most of them are right where they're at. I mean, what's the most underrated one we've heard so far? I mean, I don't even know. Is it
Airborne? Might be
that. Or,
you skipped past one I just saw there, Captain Fantastic.
Oh yeah. What is that?
That's a great flick. If you haven't seen it, it might be on Netflix. It's Viggo Mortensen. And it's about this guy that is raising his kids off the grid in the woods.
What?
Oh. It is really, really cool, man. Check it
down.
out. Captain Fantastic is definitely worth a watch. It's awesome. Yeah.
At first, it sounded like something they'd watch on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
For
like
sure.
Captain Fantastic.
For
Then
sure.
when you described it, it actually sounded pretty good.
It is really cool. It kind of opens up with this family and they're hunting for their food out in the woods, like as a family, like very
interesting.
Yeah, really cool, man. Really
I'm
cool.
a big Vigo guy.
Yeah,
too,
he's great in it. You get full frontal too.
I bet you
Whoa.
do.
You get full frontal.
It's another one that is like
wasn't
for
a
years.
fan.
Really great flick.
I only saw it once, and I was like, "Give me a."
Pretty heady. It's pretty heady.
Yeah, you had to
Pushed a
really
lot,
pay attention.
in my cognitive psych class in college.
I could
It's all
see
about
that.
memory and everything.
For
So,
sure.
oh, yeah, just watch Memento. I was like, I'm not watching
Because it's a pretty wild movie as far as he loses his memory is, and then he's tattooed with all these.
He
little
wakes up with all these tattoos that he has to
messages.
use those to like piece his memory back.
Put it all back together.
And who's the guy in there? Because he's a phenomenal actor. He's like not a Willem Dafoe, but somebody right along those lines. If you know that actor on our Facebook page, please feel free to.
Who is like William Dafoe? Gary Busey.
Did you say William Dafoe?
Willem
It's
Dafoe.
Willem.
I said.
Don't you ever disrespect him.
Thank you, Seth. Pool Hall Junkies.
One of my faves.
Oh, seen it.
Love Pool Hall Junkies.
I'm gonna go underrated.
The only person you would know that's actually
Chris Walken.
other than Christopher Walken, also Chaz Palminteri. He's in it.
Chaz.
Yeah, it's a good flick, man. It just follows the. I was playing a lot of pool at the time that movie came out, and it was a lot of fun.
Did
man.
you have your
A
own
lot of fun.
stick?
Oh, several. I had a jump cube, jump cube, break cube, a couple other cues. Like, well, sure, I had a lot of cues.
Wait a minute, there are different cues.
Dude,
Like golf clubs?
I played Craig in pool at where were we? We were at Parlor, our sponsor, Parlor STL in the Grove.
Nice pool table.
Nice pool table. Me and Craig, we played for like an hour the first game. We were just so off.
We were banging balls.
We were
Yeah,
rusty.
banging balls. Of course, we were also hammered.
We were trying to impress some girls. We were drinking gin out of a bucket.
We were
out of a trophy. I thought. Right?
A trophy, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bucket.
They do
size.
call it a gin bucket, though. Yeah, no, it's a great flick. It's a lot of fun. There's some pretty good humor in it. Other than that, not a whole lot of people you would recognize.
I love the ending.
North by Northwest.
I can't say I've seen it.
Is that an Alfred Hitchcock one thing?
That might be.
I have a feeling it is. Train Spotting. Okay.
Dude, can you believe I haven't seen that movie?
I
And
actually
everybody goes,
can't.
I swear you wrote it.
As,
I'm like,
as 90s as you are, I can't believe you haven't seen
I've
Trainspotting.
seen Spun, I've seen Go, I've seen. I mean,
yeah,
you named
Spun.
Requiem for a Dream. You
Yeah,
you
it's
named
very Requiem for a Dream.
you
You've
named
all
the
of
drug
those.
movie. I've seen it. That is one where I've seen like little pieces,
It's got
the
a scene-
baby.
It's
that
got a
crawls
scene
out
that
of the,
will haunt me for the rest of my life.
that
my
it?
friend. Oh man, is it
That
horrible.
and
Yeah.
the poop scene, the bathroom scene.
There's some pretty rough ones.
Yeah.
So that I think that one goes on the underrated list. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
It,
For sure,
it went under the radar of like that could have been as
It was
a
big
film
in the
as other
90s,
ones.
man. I remember it being really big in the 90s.
I think
Really?
people are afraid to say they like it.
Possibly.
Like so
I haven't seen
messed
the
up. I
second
don't want
one.
to tell
They
people I
just
like that
re-released
movie.
a
Hey
second
guys,
We'll wait for that one until we get to the end. Maybe you
Sure.
can say that
Steve.
one. Yeah.
I think we got a caller.
I'm not afraid one bit of dying or being thrown in your dungeon.
Alex.
I'm not a coward like you. I don't
Get
come
him off
off
the
bottom
phone.
feet trash like you. I'm not afraid.
Ow.
All I'm afraid of is failing.
Ow.
All I'm afraid of is bowing down to you murdering trash.
You have
It's
a
okay
movie.
to bow
All I think about
sometimes.
those hundreds of thousands of Christians that you raped and murdered with the jihad
Do you
army
like
they
any
put
movies?
in Syria
Yeah.
to slaughter that peaceful country and overturn it where people lived in peace.
You're a madman now.
Did you
All I
see
think about is
Trainspotting?
what type of government do we have that engages in these forms of incredible evil? You baby harvesting demon maggots.
Well, we're not harvesting.
Never back down. I'll never bow to you.
What are your thoughts on Jingle All the Way? Ooh, Alex? No. Okay.
Oh,
So what-
man.
All right.
Is he okay? Like, what was he just
Seth,
my
Seth's
my
buddy.
phone's blowing up right now.
It's
He's
Seth's buddy. It's
He's
weird.
calling. He's like, can I be on the air? It's like, Alex, we'll let you back on, but you gotta behave.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Right where it should be.
right where it should
Right
be?
where it should.
Yeah, I
be.
think so.
agree.
I enjoy it. I haven't
About-
watched it in a long time, but I
That
enjoy it.
dance is pretty classic. I mean, when it came out, it was a big deal.
Oh yeah.
It was a phenomenon. Vote Pedro became a phenomenon.
I wasn't
Like,
sure that I was gonna like it as I was watching it, but at the end of it, I was like, I think I really liked that.
Yeah.
I think that was, and I
It was a weird time period because
was.
it was like it seemed like it was
Yeah.
the 90s.
well
It
because
was
they're in
also-
Idaho, right?
Yeah.
like,
I was like,
It's
not
like late 90s
2000.
Idaho. Like, what setting is that? No one ever like, let's go back to late 90s Idaho.
That was a weird time, baby.
Do you remember late 90s Idaho?
I don't. The glamour shots, that was great. I'll throw this
Okay.
football over that mountain.
Oh,
That
Uncle
was-
Rico.
Uncle Rico.
So besides John Heater and Haley Duff, like who else is in there that you know their name?
Oh, no one.
I can't think.
LaFonda?
Okay.
Is the best.
Shit.
Don't be
Yeah,
jealous. I've
hot
been
shit.
talking to hot babes on the internet all day.
Haggard. I've never heard of that.
Never heard of it either.
Said it was a.
Is it about Merle Haggard?
If you're a teenage pothead in 2004, you might like it.
Oh, it's about Merle Haggard. Okay.
No, Magnolia.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it once.
maybe I need to
That was
revisit it.
interesting.
Maybe
Yeah,
need to
I
revisit it.
bet it would mean more to me now because he's like, respect the power of the penis. Can you say that?
What does that happen?
Yes, you can
Yeah,
say.
you can
penis.
say
You
yes.
can
the
use
power of the
anatomically correct terms.
penis. Like I remember that being the
On Magnolia?
Yeah,
now
that
I
was
gotta go
his
back.
deal.
I don't know.
City of the Lost Children.
Haven't seen it.
What?
No, me neither. Poltergeist.
I haven't seen it.
Is that an underrated?
I've seen like half of it.
I don't know that it's underrated.
Maybe it's underrated in the horror genre, but I
May-
think it's right where it needs to be.
Yeah, it is wild that it was PG-13.
That was
yeah,
the one
that's what the-
PG-13.
Yeah,
Good
yeah, it
Lord.
should have been a hard R for sure.
Rad, a bicycle movie. No,
Oh, dude, no.
Not that kind
Daniel
of hard R.
Tosh talks about Rad on Tosh.0 all the time.
Really?
It's hilarious because he says he claims you can only get this movie today on VHS. Like you're not going to see it anywhere else. If you can find a VHS copy,
Of
it's
Rad?
like it's about BMX racing.
Well, Lori Loughlin and Talia Shire are in it.
Well, there's enough to get on board.
Wait, is that
I'm going to
Lori
be the
Loughlin?
best, maybe the best in the world.
Is that Aunt Becky from Full House?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
Yeah.
boy. You're dang right. it is.
she's in a
It was like a late
dope
teen.
Lifetime movie that I saw when I was a
Oh,
little kid.
dude. Dude, she slayed.
Her husband leaves her for a man who's a therapist. They have and he leaves her with their two small boys, and she has to go on welfare. And there's this really sad scene.
You
where
strike
she-
me as a guy that watched a lot of
I
Lifetime.
watched a
movies.
lot of Lifetime growing up. My grandmother was big into Lifetime.
Me too, dude.
And
I loved him. I'd sit there and watch him with her. Love it, dude.
there's a scene where she wakes up at
Awesome.
like 2 a.m, and the kid's like in the kitchen, like sneaking a bowl of cereal. And she's like, "That cereal is for breakfast. We have this much for this time. Do you know how little money we have?" And like the 6-year-old's like, "Yes, we know, because you talk about it all the time, but we're so hungry all the time." Like, oh my God,
It's heartbreaking.
children.
It's heartbreaking.
It's changed Sam's life forever. Lori Loughlin. Blank Man.
Loved Blank Man.
Love Blank Man. Maybe
Yeah.
a little underrated.
I watched it a lot when I was a
Damon
kid.
Wayans?
Oh,
Wayans?
Damon Wayans is a superhero.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know. Okay.
He's like plumbing.
I felt like it was kind of. I felt like it was kind
I
of
think
like
I avoided
Meteor Man?
watching that.
he wanted. I felt like Meteor Man. I remember that too. But I felt like it was like a rip off of his character on In Living Color, the handyman or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, so I kind of felt like maybe they couldn't make the handyman movie, and so they made Blank Man. But I loved it.
Okay.
David Allen Greer. It was great. I liked it.
I was a big Damon Wayans, David Allen Greer guy.
Oh, for sure.
Love some David Allen Greer.
Like
Those
when
guys
they're
are
like
incredible.
the movie review, hated it. They
Yes.
used to wear those little hats. I love that.
Two
dude.
snaps in a circle.
That was
Yes.
great. Dogma.
Love Dogma, man. I love
I've
Dogma.
only seen it once, and I was.
Watch it again. It's it's definitely on the Plex for sure.
Is it
But,
underrated?
I personally think so because I thought
I wasn't a fan.
No?
I liked it. I
I'll
think that
pass.
I think that it talked about stuff that definitely put a target on their back as far as heresy goes. But no, I thought it's fun. It's a fun movie. Watch it again. It's good.
But if you're gonna write a comedy, you should put a few jokes in it. I think
You're the worst.
Kevin Smith is
Wow.
just simply
I
not
love
funny.
an evening with Kevin Smith. Like I'd sit there and watch. I eat that stuff up, man. I'm a nerd to the core. Like that's what half of his content
I love
is.
comic
so-
books and who doesn't like to roll one up and read a comic book? Remember that time period when that's all you had to worry about?
Yeah,
that's great. And his movies speak to that, and I still just can't get it because it just don't.
There's a lot
It's
of
supposed to
Kevin
be
Smith
funny and it
movies
doesn't
are.
make me laugh. so.
Jersey Girl is also on the list.
It's actually a pretty solid Kevin Smith.
Is
film.
Mallrats on there?
Yes, somebody did put Mallrats
Yes,
on right there.
Mallrats
Yeah.
is on there as well.
That's
Oh,
almost
is
as
that-
bad
is
as
it-
Clerks.
Does Kevin Smith just have a bunch of fake profiles and he's just commenting on his
And
movies?
that's the funny thing is actually they did
Might
come
be
from
it.
a lot of different people.
Chasing Amy.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna do a random selection. Who wins the tickets?
Real Genius, Kingpin.
Kingpin's one of my favorite comedies. Can I talk about a under the
Kingpin.
radar '90s comedy
Please
that
do.
I think is just super underrated, but it's so funny because Michael Keaton doesn't get enough praise for how funny he is. And do Multiplicity. That movie just killed me. I watched it over and over again in like 98, 99. I go
It's
back
good.
and watch it. It's still funny. Multiplicity is awesome. Underrated comedy.
Michael Keaton, one of my favorite actors, best Batman. He was in Jackie Brown. He
He's
did
awesome.
great in that.
Birdman.
He's
He's great in Birdman.
Birdman
great.
was a
He's
weird-
great. I love Michael
That was
Keaton.
an
Love
odd-
me some Mike Keaton and Multiplicity. I'm not gonna lie, it was all right.
Mr. Mom. Is that him?
I think so.
Yeah.
You know what movie's underrated? Killing Zoe.
Never heard of
What's
it.
that?
It's look it up.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Killing Zoe.
It is
That's
intense.
Seth's pick.
A guy flies to France to meet
Oh,
up
now he's
with
gonna
a
explain
friend.
it.
because he needs him to break into this safe. So he's like, yeah, you're going to come with me and my friends. We're going to hold up this bank. You need to do your thing with the safe. And this sounds pretty cliche, but it just goes off the wall.
Time frame, was it made 90s?
Oh, it's the 90s, yeah.
Okay. What do you got a one that flies under the radar, Sam?
Man, did they say was Chasing Amy on there?
No, I don't think it was. It was
like the more I'm thinking about Airborne, like that was I really loved that movie.
Me too. It's a fun movie, man.
Too sexy for that whole like montage scene where they're trying to pick out clothes. That was great.
I think I need to
All
visit
the
it.
pranks.
It's a good revisit.
And it
it's
paved
fun.
the way for Johnny Tsunami. Johnny Tsunami could not have happened without Airborne.
Okay.
Do you not know Johnny
I
Tsunami?
do
That was
not.
a Disney Channel movie.
Okay.
It's the grandson of a champion surfer, and so he moves to this tundra, and so he takes up snowboarding. And there's a feud on this mountain. I think Phil Hartman is in that. There's two brothers each own half of the mountain. On half of it, it's skiing only. Like the preppy kids only ski, and like the grungy kids all snowboard, and they have a race for the mountain. That's the climax.
That is right up my alley. I love
Lee
stuff like
Thompson
that.
is in it from Famous Jet Jackson.
Yeah.
If that rings a bell to anybody.
Okay.
No, not at all.
He was in.
Are you 12, Sam?
I am.
How old are you?
Listen, I'm 26. Okay.
You are a young.
That's a half generation underneath this for sure. Yeah.
Yep, you're 15 years younger than Craig and I.
Yikes.
That's nuts, dude. Big generation gap
I'm
between us.
63,
Run out of
man.
time. Should we give him some Netflix picks? We like movies, so do we. We like internet, so do we. It's the streaming picks of the week. It's the streaming picks of the week. It's the streaming picks of the week. We like the internet too. You want to start with Sam today?
Well, you know what's weird? I didn't get to do my pick for the most underrated movie, which
Please
is
do.
Jackal, and mine is St. Ralph. And if you haven't seen St. Ralph, go out and watch St. Ralph immediately. Like that's a movie that could have won Academy Awards. It's a
Isn't it about a kid that runs?
coming of age story, a kid who tries to win the Boston Marathon. Oh,
okay.
You'll laugh, you'll cry. It is phenomenal. Canadian flick.
Really? St. Ralph.
All boys school. He gets sent to a Catholic like private school.
Okay.
It plays very much to like a St. Louis,
to our childhood
South City kid. It will.
All right.
So check out St. Ralph.
What are you streaming this week?
I'm doing my my sixth watch of Game of Thrones.
My man, me too.
Getting ready
We're
for
there,
April 14th, baby.
Me too.
I've been introducing someone else to it. It's her first time watching it.
Oh, I envy you. That's fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And she's like very active and like vocal about her reactions.
Yes.
Which I could only I could never watch it because I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
It's so much fun watching somebody like watch like season 1, episode 9, watching that like creep up on someone. They have no idea what's coming. Amazing.
You saying you're going through it, like I think this is my 6th or 7th time too, whatever. And I'm still getting stuff. They were laying groundwork since day one, homie.
God.
And like after that last one, you're like,
buddy, Arya
I know.
starts out the show. The first thing you see her with is a needle in her hand.
Yep.
When I saw that, I was like, all right, okay. All right, you win.
Yep.
You guys win.
You guys got me all
That's
along.
unbelievable.
What else are you streaming?
So I'm pretty much just watching that right now. I am working on Oz. I've seen about 4 episodes of that.
The HBO show?
Yeah. I've never seen it before.
I watched it when it was airing. It's
I'm
good.
trying. I'm not getting into it, but like it's got
good.
like an 8.6 rating on IMDb.
It's good, dude. It does get real. It's an HBO show, so
I think
it definitely
I think it's
builds.
gonna be like Game of Thrones, Sopranos.
You'll get invested in some characters.
There's gonna be a moment where it kicks in for me.
Yeah, you will. I remember watching it live. I haven't gone back to it, but it was at the time, man, I don't think there was anything racier on TV.
And
it's
then
pretty awesome.
I've been working on Dexter for a while. Dexter's whack. Like
Dexter
the first
didn't get it for
season,
me.
first season's great. Second season's fine, and the rest of it is like I'm gonna finish it. But
That's kind of where I was at with Shameless myself.
I do want to say about Dexter's, like I like it and I like the characters, like the whole story, but it's just a formula that they do every
single
episode.
episode.
Sons of Anarchy did that.
And
too.
after a while, it's like, oh, that's the guy he's gonna kill, and here's how he's gonna do it. And he's gonna tape him up,
and then he's gonna say this out loud, like he's realizing it for the first
and he's
time.
gonna bang his sister.
You got one? You want me to
go ahead and go to yours.
I'll tell you what, guys. I stumbled upon one this week.
We'll talk off air.
Netflix made it easy because it was like the one they were featuring, one of the big titles when you get on Netflix. But Polar, if you got into John Wick, If you were into like some Guy Ritchie films, also like
Snatch?
imagine like Guy Ritchie and Quentin Tarantino got together to make a movie. So it's got like a lot of gratuitous gore, but it's also kind of flashes between all these kind of cartoonish characters. Follows basically a bunch of hitmen, and
women.
And women. Yes, of course, hit people.
Thank you.
It's on Netflix. John Wick, very much like John Wick as far as like hyper violence, cool kind of gun battle scenes. But it follows this retiring hitman. It seems like it's been done a bunch, but for whatever reason, this one it's pure action, it's pure adrenaline. I actually flipped it on thinking it was Mads Mikkelsen. He's pretty cool. It seems like he's in the frozen tundra. I'm like, this is probably gonna be kind of a slow movie for me to fall asleep to.
Yeah.
And I was wired till like 1:30 in the morning. I'm like,
it's got a little Taken vibe to it.
It does. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. It kind of
Polar?
marries a bunch of, it's called Polar. It's worth a watch, man. It's like an hour and 45 minutes, maybe 2 hours. But it's super cool, man. It follows all these, like right out the gate. It's got that Guy Ritchie feel, but it doesn't take him long to get into some Tarantino. Think like Mr. Blonde in Reservoir Dogs, his whole famous scene. Like it's got a scene that's very similar to that. It's awesome, man. Check it out. Polar, Mads Mikkelsen on Netflix.
I will. My turn.
Yeah.
I've been watching so much stuff. I watched The Office. I love The Office. I'll rewatch
I was gonna
it.
say, I think it's your pick every week.
I'll cry when Jim and Pam finally get together and when Michael leaves. Like I'm
speaking Greek to me. I've never
into
watched that
it.
episode.
I'm just
They're just ripping off the Ross and Rachel.
But I did.
storyline.
Shut
I'll
your
like
mouth.
come right over that
Shut
table.
your
I'll
mouth
come right
right
over
now.
that table.
I've never watched it.
Shut your mouth.
Friends is
on.
Friends is not good. Continue, Steve.
Thank you. But I got into a little bit, and I haven't watched much of it lately because I kind of went back to the old well. But there's a show called Cuckoo.
Yeah.
And I mentioned it one time in passing on the show, I believe, when we had a little bit of time. But it's Andy Samberg.
Okay.
And have you seen the movie that's out? Why Him? I believe
Yes.
it's called.
Yes.
With James Franco
Yes.
And Bryan Cranston.
Yes.
Pretty much a series, same type of situation.
Okay.
The daughter goes on a gap year and meets a guy in Thailand. It's Andy Samberg.
He's a goofball.
He's he's meditating. He's on psychedelics and like.
I'll check it out.
It's fun. It's a neat little comedy. You probably can't watch it with the kids or anything, but it's nothing crazy. Just an easy watch. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like something you probably can fall asleep to.
Sure.
And the dad is a guy you'll recognize from a bunch of British comedies. Probably don't know his name. Real
Okay.
big guy, balding, blonde-haired guy. Always kind of plays a knucklehead in movies. He's the dad, and the mom is actually we talked about it before. Ross was going to marry Emily.
Okay.
It's Emily.
It's Emily?
And she is just she's beautiful. Like she's aged like a fine
Really?
wine. Yeah. So I might be repeating myself a little
called
bit.
Cuckoo. I bring up
watched a little bit
Friends,
more of it, but it's
and
good.
people threaten me.
I brought up
Is
the
Emily-
worst
You
part
bring
of
up
it.
Friends like, oh,
Is
yeah,
that
I
Gabrielle
remember.
Union's character? It's
No.
not Gabrielle Union. Okay, then I don't know.
What
it's,
what are you watching, Seth?
Oh, nothing
Yep.
at the moment. But I no, you always put me on the spot. But I will
always do
say,
that.
I do want to say, I put the trailer for Killing Zoe on the Sophisticated Hoosier page, so check
sweet.
that out.
We'll check that out. Guys, we've gotten there. We've reached the end.
We're up against.
We are up
not
against
a
it.
break.
We're up against it for the week.
6 days.
I wanna
Proverbial.
thank our buddy Sam Lyons for coming in studio, hanging out with
Of
us
course,
again.
of course.
Thank you, Sam.
Come in here anytime you want,
Yeah.
man. Tell everybody about your show again tomorrow.
Guys, tomorrow night, Improv Shop Side Stage, The Draft, 10:15. Wednesday at Heavy Anchor, Run the Joes. And then Friday at Heavy Anchor, Comedy Digest. Those are 3 shows this week. Follow me on Twitter, Wu-Tang Sammy. Instagram, Wu-Tang Sammy. Cash App, Wu-Tang Sammy. I need your money.
Support your
Wu-Tang
local,
Financial.
support your local artists. Hey guys, we're going to thank our sponsors one last time. Momed Canco makes this whole thing possible. Go to momedcanco.com, enter HOSO at checkout, get 15% off site-wide. If you're thinking about buying 2 bottles, enter 342 and you'll get a third one free. 342. James Carlton State Farm. He's the best insurance agent in the game.
I've been thinking a lot about it lately.
CarltonInsurance.net, 314-961-4800. Lifetime Roofing and Renovation. Roof. Best roofers in the game. Best roofing outfit. Maybe you need some siding work done. Exterior work. Call Lifetime Roofing. Have them come give you a bid. They'll fly a drone over your house. They'll 3D render it. It's awesome. Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove. Parlor STL. We got Hoosier Tattoo Day, February 24th.
Yeah, right.
Everybody that's interested, reach out to us. We'll try and get you guys on the books, get it all scheduled up. This has been Hoosier Sophisticate. You guys humble us with your presence. We love you so much. Well done. Well done, gentlemen. Well done. We'll catch you all next week.
USA Radio News with Rick Vincent.
This is
President Donald Trump is not ruling anything out.